Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's webinar, which is all going to be about eating, chocolate, Easter and holidays. And today we have got Jayne with us to discuss this. So say hello, Jayne. Tell everyone a little bit about you.
Hello, my name's Jayne, as Vic's just said, and I've been a personal trainer for a couple of years now. I initially trained through lockdown, and like I said, I've been doing this officially for a couple of years, and I absolutely love it. I tend to mainly have clients that are women, generally of the age over 30, and they've tried every single diet under the sun. No idea what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing. It's usually trying a diet, for example, Slimming World. They do that for a little bit, don't get on with it very well. It starts working, then it stops working, or they stop working. So they move on to another one, try that one for a little bit, and then again, either they stop working or it starts working, and then they move on to another one, and they go back to Slimming World, and they do go the whole process again, losing and gaining that same kind of stone up and down, and it's just soul destroying. So they're the kind of clients that I usually tend to deal with, and I come from a kind of fitness background. I was a gymnast when I was younger. I've been a Zumba instructor, and I was a consultant, wait for it, for the one-to-one diet by Cambridge Weight Plan for 13 years. So if you want to know anything about extremely low calorie diets and all the stuff behind that, then I am your girl. But I have moved away from that now, and I can't say that the plan doesn't work, because it's a calorie deficit. It's too long to go into, but it's the whole thing around it, which is, it is very much a yo-yo kind of diet scenario, because it's not sustainable. So people use it, can't stick to it, go back to doing what they were doing, and then, you know, come back to Cambridge again. So the products and the diet itself is like any other diet. There's nothing wrong with Slimming World, there's nothing wrong with Weight Watchers, there's nothing wrong with any of those, but they've got to be sustainable. And if you can't see yourself doing something in 6 months' time, then it's not worth doing it.
No, and I think it's how you use those types of diets as well. Like you say, Slimming World's great, but if you abuse it for the free foods, then you're not going to get anywhere.
No.
And like you say, Cambridge one-to-one diet, all those low calorie diets, yes, they're good for like a short amount of time. If you've hit your goal weight, and then obviously, like we're going to speak about, like Easter, you might have put a few pounds on, you know, you could just do something like that for a week or two, you know, and utilize the right diets for the right things rather than being a constant. So I think there is a time and a place for every style of diet, but it's just a case of you knowing that, and I think a lot of people don't know that. They think that they just have to pick one, and there's just one answer, and there's not. There's millions.
There's not. And the thing is, they're all tools. They are all tools. It's the same with intermittent fasting, you know, keto, whatever you decide to use, and they all work to some degree. It's like I said at the beginning, it's whether the person doing them works with that diet.
Yeah.
And you know, I am, you know, I'm not saying I'm above anybody else, but I am very much competitive with myself. And if I say I'm going to do a particular diet, and it doesn't matter what diet it is, and that's why I was successful with Cambridge, is because I went, I am going to do this until I lose all the weight, and then I'm going to go on to build muscle. So I knew it was a process, and I knew that I would have to stick it out for 3 or 4 months. And I did. Not everybody can do that, and I appreciate that. That's, you know, the general population that we deal with, me and you, you know, it's hard, and the life.
It is, and especially if you've got like family and kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're going out and you wanting to enjoy yourself and go out for meals, go on holidays, like those kind of things don't fit into that life. And you've either got to be really headstrong in the sense that you take those products away with you, or you don't eat when you go out, you know, which is very hard for a lot of people. And I think that kind of steps into like the bodybuilder realm of like,
totally,
how strict you are, and you know, you've got to be really headstrong. And I think a lot of people these days just want it easier. And it was funny, I had catch-up call with a client yesterday, and I wrote it down because I was like, I quite like this. She's put happily losing weight. That is what she said to me yesterday. She's happily losing weight, because she's doing it sustainably. She's just had a week off where her daughter's got engaged, and she's overindulged. They've gone out for some meals, a few drinks. Of course you do, and that's life. Imagine if she was on like a 1,300 calorie diet and she had to stick to that, and she's missing out on all these celebrations. And I think it's about the knowledge and understanding that you can step away for a week and then go back into it, and I think people, as soon as they kind of fall off track or plan or whatever you want to call it, they struggle to get back on. But she's like, no, she said, I have been dieting and happily dieting. I've been enjoying it, incorporating the foods that I love. This news came unexpectedly. We enjoyed ourselves, and now I'm ready to get back on track. I've done my shopping. I'm good to go tomorrow. And I think that's it, where you can utilize all these different methods.
Up to lockdown, I've always gone away 3 or 4 times a year. We've holidayed together. We've enjoyed some, off plan fun, shall we say. So I live for my holidays now. So the way that I treat my life, if you like, is that, I'll be doing what I need to be doing up to that holiday. I go and absolutely eat all the good stuff, drink what I want to drink, do what I want to do, because I know that when I step off that plane, I am back ready, going for the next holiday.
It's kind of like that switch in your brain, isn't it? And I think I've definitely got that as well. Like the second I step back through this front door, that switch has just gone straight on, and you just, because we've built habits and routines and
absolutely
what we want to know. But there's no on or off mentality. It's not, oh, I'm off track, or I've gone off plan. Yeah, it's like that is just what it is. And you will just constantly do an up and down roller coaster all your life of enjoying different events, holidays, Christmas, whatever.
And then it's like having a switchboard, and it's like having a switchboard, and basically using those dials to turn it up, bring it back down, turn it up, bring it back down, as and when needed across whatever it is that you're doing. So I think that's what life's all about. You don't want to, if you think about it, if you take the 1st of January every year and you look back over years to come, but let's just take 12 months, what weight if you took your weight or your inches, or you took a picture on the 1st of January one year, and then did all your up and down dieting, one thing, doing loads of cardio, cutting out carbs, whatever it is that you do for 12 months, and then come back to the 1st of January the following year, have you changed? And most people haven't, because they're picking and choosing. They don't know what to do. They don't know they don't know how to sustain something. It's different if you go back and you're maintaining where you want to be. But if you're wanting to change things, and on the 1st of January every year, you are back where you started, then something has to change, because the years that it takes of consistently doing that, where changing habits and slowly getting into a better mindset and realizing what works in the long term, by that 12 months, you could achieve so much if you just stuck to one thing and kept building those habits up. So you start with the foundations, and then you just keep building those habits bit by bit.
Yeah. And like I was talking to my client yesterday, she's like, I'm so excited to kind of get to the maintenance phase and understand and learn that. And I said, well, it's just what you're doing now, except she was talking about going out for coffee with a friend and stuff. And I said, well, it's just exactly what you're doing now. However, when you go to Costa, you can have a cake with that coffee, whereas now you probably can't, because it's probably at least 300 calories. I said, and then rather than just having one coffee, you can have 2. I said, that's your extra 500 calories for the day, which is not a lot really. I said, or if you're going out for afternoon tea on the weekend, you can just stick to your diet Monday to Friday and have those extra couple of 1,000 calories on the weekend. I said, so it's not really anything different. You're just adding those indulgences in. And she was like, oh, I didn't even really think about it like that. And I said, it is just a numbers game, and it is just about understanding those things. And like you say, when we get to Christmas, to Easter, of course you're going to put some weight on. You know, our lifestyle changes a bit. Same when you go on a holiday, you know, you might not be working out as much, you might not get any more steps in, you know, you might be a bit more sedentary, you're eating more. So, you know, that gap where your deficit was, you know, you're now eating more, you're doing less steps, you know, you're coming into a bit of a surplus, and it's just about going, all right, okay, so I need to go back to what I was doing and get back to where I was. And I think a lot of people need to kind of get away from that on and off mindset of, oh, I'm on plan, I'm off plan, oh, I've ruined everything. It's like, you've not ruined everything, you've just had a bit of extra food. And obviously we're going to come on to Easter, and you know, luckily, and I say luckily, I only got one Easter egg. However, that one Easter egg was 1,200 calories, and I was like, what? Maybe because it was dairy free, I don't know. It might have included there was like 4 little truffles with it, like only like dead tiny. But yeah, that was it. Just a shell of an egg and 4 truffles, 1,200 calories. So that's some people's dieting calories, that. So I did my best to spread it out over a week. But you know, it's there, and a lot of people get more than one egg. And I've done various things over the years when I've had like 4 or 5 different types of eggs, bars, whatever. Obviously when I could eat chocolate, you know, whereas this year it's just been like, oh, well, you can't really have anything. So, and to be honest, I'm happy with just having one. I wouldn't even been bothered. So what would you do if you got like loads of chocolate for Easter? Like, what have you done in the past, or what would you kind of say to clients?
So I am very lucky that I don't have any kids, and I don't mean that I'm lucky I don't have kids.
Yeah.
I mean that I don't have that scenario of having to buy and have chocolate in the house. So it's me and the dog, and that is it. So he doesn't buy me one. I don't get my mum to buy me one anymore. And I literally I bought myself one this year. And I just went, I was going to go and get I love Reese's. So I was going to get the big, it was £10, the big, humongous one. And I just thought, why am I buying this egg? And I actually sat and thought about why I'm buying this egg. And I was buying the egg because it was Easter.
Yeah.
Not because I wanted chocolate, not because I was buying it for somebody else or whatever reason. I was buying it for myself, and I just thought, but I don't really want it. So I went and bought a £1 one.
Yeah.
You know, the little ones that you sometimes give away, you know, for the Easter egg hunts and stuff like that. And I bought myself one like that, and that's what I had. And I had it on the Easter Sunday. My mum came round and I bought her the same, and we just sat and ate that. So I am lucky in that respect. However, I have been in scenarios where I have had lots of chocolate, and sometimes I will indulge in it, and sometimes I will say, do you know what, it makes me feel crap, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to have this little bit, and then I'm going to put the rest of it away. And I have put Easter eggs away. When I worked at Tesco, I bought Easter eggs in the sale.
Yeah.
When Easter eggs used to be left over, and they're very rare now.
Yeah.
And I remember finding 3 Easter eggs up in the loft. So I put them out of the way. It's up in the top room, out of the way, so that if they're in your eye line,
oh yeah,
they talk to you.
They
I
do.
swear to God, Easter eggs talk to you. So I just got rid of them. I've never given anything away, but my initial thing on it is this: you should always indulge a little, because if you consistently restrict yourself, especially coming from the background that I do, it just makes you want it more. And like I said, it sits and talks to you. You know, things shout at you through the kitchen cupboards. But if you have a little bit and have that control, then that will see and start to use that control. So I always say, the first time you do it is hardest. It's hardest every time.
Yeah.
It's like the first time you have to start upping your steps, or the first time that you have to start looking into your sleep, or the first time that you do anything, it is goddamn hard. But once you've done it, it makes you go, I managed that.
Yeah.
And it didn't hurt. Nobody died, you know, and I indulged a little bit, but I didn't go mad. And I think then it starts to make you think, and I felt good about it.
Yeah.
Because I think the other side of that is, and I think what a lot of people do with Netflix and, you know, watching series on the bounce and stuff like that, we just get sat on the sofa and do this.
Yeah.
No idea what you're eating.
Yeah, so easy to do that. So easy.
You know, it's like when I take my dog out, he never looks up. His nose, he's a Labrador, his nose is on the floor and he sniffs the whole route. If I said, if he could speak and I said, where have we been, Duke? He'd have no idea, because it's just that mentality of, you've no idea what it tastes like. And it's not until you actually stop shoveling it in that you think, I feel sick, I feel horrible. And then the guilt and the regret and everything else comes in. So I think for me, there has to be a lot of mindfulness that goes on, a lot of planning ahead. So I would always say, plan what you're going to eat. So say to yourself, it's Easter or it's Christmas, or what am I going to do? Am I just going to have Christmas Day off? Am I going to have Easter Sunday off? And am I just going to go all in, thoroughly enjoy myself? But the run up to it, I'm going to be great. And the run after it, I'm going to be great. This is my cut-off day. And I always say with my clients, I actually run a challenge in December. And the challenge that I run is where you plot days that you're going to have off and enjoy Christmas.
I do exactly the same with my clients.
And then days where you're going to be good. And part of the challenge is, if you turn a green day into a red day, then we have a little forfeit, you know, and just make it a bit of fun. It's about planning ahead. And do you know what?
Like controlled fun. Like, do you know what I mean?
But I have noticed, I've been running this for 2 years now, and I have noticed nobody's ever done a forfeit, and the amount of times a red day has turned into a green, loads.
Yeah.
It's the planning ahead without a shadow of a doubt. So for me, it's be mindful, plan ahead, make sure you've got some healthy snacks as well. And this is whether it's Easter or whether it's Christmas or whatever it is, birthdays, you know, we've got 3 bank holidays coming up next month.
Oh God.
So, you know, you've got to think to yourself, so do I just have the whole of May off?
Yeah. And I think it's that mentality at Christmas as well. Like you say, I'll just have the whole of Christmas off, which is exactly the same as you. Like I said, you know, I said to my clients, you know, plan your December out, print out a calendar, you know, of all the days, write down what you've got going on. You might have commitments, family, time, whatever. I said, and then on the other days, like say, you've just got to be 100% on your diet. And then that helps with those other days. And I think over Easter, things that I've suggested to clients in the past, if they've got a lot of chocolate, or like you say, you know, the kids stuff's around, label the kids in your mind as not my food. Like it's not yours, it's the kids. I know that's very hard to do when you're seeing it all the time, but again, put it out of sight if you have to. Tell your partner where it is. They can get it out for the kids and you don't have to see it and deal with it. And because men generally don't kind of crave chocolate, do they? So they're not going to eat it.
They're not normal beings, are they?
No,
they're totally different to women when it comes to chocolate.
Yeah, and what I used to do with Easter eggs in the past, where I've got a lot, is I'd get some food bags, I'd weigh out a portion and go, right, okay, this is 200 calories, and I just have 200 calorie bags. So rather than dipping in an Easter egg and thinking, how much have I eaten? Or, you know, did I have it all? I've eaten half of it, trying to work it out, scanning it afterwards. Get it, break it all up, put it into food bags, know that it's however many calories you want. If you want 400 calories in that bag, put it in, you know, and then have it every day and go, do you know what? I've got 200 calories every day of this chocolate. I'm going to sit down in front of the TV, mindfully eat and enjoy. And it's something to look forward to every single day. You can do the same with bars, you know, you can chop them up and just have that portion size and that portion control. And it's not about me going, oh, you know, let's make it boring and control it all. But at the end of the day, if I'd have eaten a 1200 calorie Easter egg, like plus 2000 calories worth of food in a day, which I could have easily done. Like, it's not hard for me to do, you know, 3200 calories in a day. You know, that's a lot of food that I've over consumed. you know, I'm looking at like a third of a pound that I've put on just from eating that one egg. And then if I did the same the next day, you know, how much weight you're going to put on. And when you eat chocolate, it comes to like this much in your stomach. So it doesn't even fill you up. So it's not like you've digested those calories and they filled you up. You know, imagine eating 1,200 calories worth of food, of chicken and veg and rice.
I would rather eat that.
Yeah.
I am very much a volume eater, so I like to see high volume on my plate. I love my food. There is nobody, or there was nobody more excited because I did kind of go into the bodybuilding side of it, totally flipped it on its head from, you know, doing 800 calories to 3,500. You know, and then he was before I knew what a refeed was, he was saying, no, you're gonna have a refeed. I was like, woo, yeah, I can't wait for all these calories. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. But that's a whole another subject. But yeah, I would much rather eat a high amount of food on my plate. Because for me, my eyes are bigger than my belly. And I like to see lots of colour, lots of vegetables. I have a lot of fruit with yogurt because I like to see the volume again. So yeah, for me, I would much rather have good quality food, and then just have a little bit of chocolate or whatever it is that I fancy.
And I wrote down in my notes on my phone quite a few years ago, because I'd eaten a few things and they'd not satiated me. So I decided to write down in my phone. I think I've still got it. And I had some Quality Street from work and it just made me feel sick because I probably didn't eat that many, but Quality Street are quite sickly, aren't they? Because they're quite like a lot of creams. And then I had some cookies and I wrote down like having 2 cookies was no different satiation wise than having the 10 cookies that I had, sort of thing, you know. And it's just reminding yourself of those things that actually more isn't always more. And like I said, that Easter egg that my mum got me, because it was dairy free, it's not the same as like Cadbury's, it's just not.
No.
You know, so I didn't get the same satiation effect from it. So as much as I was eating it, I was like, it's not really doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
So again, like the appeal comes away from it, and I prefer that volume. I need to feel like belly full, like, you know, like you say, you know, need that volume. So having 1,200 calories of chocolate, I'd still be eating the rest of my normal food, and that's not going to help anyone in a dieting situation or even trying to maintain, you know. So as much as in the moment you might think, actually, I really want to eat this Easter egg, you know, great. And I said to my clients, like, it's about owning your decisions. Like as you own that decision, you decide that that was a good decision, that's fine. I'm not bothered. Like, I'm not going to shout at you. Like, you've decided that that's what you wanted to do. Great, fabulous. Me and my friend went to a vegan restaurant in January for Veganuary because it was 50% off. We ate so much food, it was ridiculous. Like, we ordered way too much. Like, I think a wheel of it. There was like 7 plates, and my friend was like, have we got enough food? I was like, before it came, I was like, I promise you we've got enough food. And we were so stuffed. And we were like, should we get dessert? And we're like, yeah, go on then. You know, but I own that decision, you know. And of course I put weight on. It was a lot of fried stuff, there was a lot of oil in there, and it was vegan, so probably a lot of coconut oil in there.
But you wouldn't, I mean, I'm sure when you got on the scales, the amount of weight that it said you'd gained in pounds, it wouldn't have been that in fat. It's just the extra that you're eating. I always say, if you were to weigh the food that you've eaten in the day and pop it on the scales, you know, that's what's circling around in your body. So you're going to weigh more. It stands to reason that you're going to weigh.
And it was a lot of vegetables as well, you know, high fiber food. I don't think I really ate much the rest of that day. I think I had a protein shake because I was like, I'm lacking in protein. I might have had some toast or something in the evening. But you know, I own that decision. It was like, I know I'm going to overindulge. I know it's going to put weight on there. I know it's going to be a low protein day. But it is what it is. So if you do want to go and eat that full Easter egg, just own that decision to do that.
And enjoy it. You know, if you're gonna eat it, sit and enjoy it. You know, and don't do the whole putting it in without watching what you're doing or enjoying the moment. It's the same way that I, you know, approach my holidays. you know, I fully intend to go and enjoy what I'm doing on those holidays. I've worked hard up to that holiday. So I'm not going to worry if I have an ice cream or a burger at every meal. I mean, I love a burger because it's not something that I would eat at home. So, you know, burger buns or chips, everything that goes with it, it's all, you know, it's all the higher calorie stuff that you are eating. And it is what it is, you know, you've just got to learn how to deal with it. But when I've had that, I can't wait then get back to doing what I was doing before.
Yeah. And another conversation I had with a different client, like they've been overindulging and they're now actually ready to get back to the good food because they're feeling a bit sluggish, a bit tired. They've probably not been drinking as much water, which kind of ties into like my last question of like, you know, a lot of people have had 2 weeks off either with kids from work, you know, been the Easter holidays. They've probably like overindulged on different foods, more foods, probably a bit more takeaway style foods, whether it's been out at a cafe or getting a takeaway in, you know, and you do feel sluggish. And what I said to my client was, that's actually a good feeling now. I said, because you've got to the point where you're nourishing your body with good food, you're drinking plenty of water, getting plenty of sleep, feeling good. I said, so the second that you come back out of that into those bad foods, I said, you realize that and you notice that. I said, and I noticed that. But it takes some clients a long time to feel good on the good food and then feel bad on the bad food, which then kind of makes you want to, like you say, get back to the good stuff because you want to feel good again and you want to feel energized, less sluggish, more alert.
Yeah, and like I say, you know, whether it is, you know, time off over Easter or whether it's Christmas, it doesn't matter what it is for me. You know, like I say, I live for my holidays. So when I come back, I'm probably 3 days into the back end of my holiday thinking, I can't wait to get home, get back into my routine, get back training, get back drinking more water. I drink less water on holiday. I actually took my big 2-litre bottle with me when I went away in March because I thought I just don't, and I need it more in the heat. But I just don't seem to drink it as much as what I do at home. I'm religious at home. So I notice it because I feel more swollen. So yeah, I can't wait to get back and just get straight back into doing what I was doing. Don't do anything drastic. I just do what I did before. And within a week, I guarantee that anything that I put on comes off.
Yeah. And it's that mentality of, like, say, walking through that front door and just slipping back into those routines, rather than having that mentality of on or off plan or, you know, or failed. And I think, yes, when you get home, plan ahead, like have something either waiting in the freezer for you that you've prepared before you're gone, so you can just get it out and defrost it. I try and get like an Asda deliverer soon after I get back.
Great idea.
Again, I can do it on holiday, do it on my phone. Like when we got to Portugal, I did it like for the first day we got back, had my Asda, there you go, fresh food in the house, didn't have to go shopping for it, it was just there, obviously put it away and I've got good stuff to eat. So it's not like, oh, there's nothing in, so I'll reach for a takeaway. But again, all these things are about changing your thought processes and changing your mindset and changing those routines. Like, how many people get back off holiday and go, oh, it's nothing in, let's have a takeaway. Oh, it's nothing in tomorrow night, let's have another takeaway. We've not been shopping. And like, for an average,
last thing I want.
Yeah, it's £2-3, you know, like it probably saves you time, saves you money, saves you the takeaway money, and ensures that you've got food. Have a takeaway pizza in the freezer if you want, if that's what you want the day you get off holiday or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
You know, cook things like spaghetti bolognese or pasta or, you know, soups, stews, whatever. I always have chicken, sausages and rice in the freezer and frozen veg. I have rice in the cupboard. I have tins of beans, tins of tomatoes. So I can literally just defrost some kind of protein, either use packet rice, frozen veg. You know, I can always put a meal together because I always make sure that I keep it stocked up. And that's all you've kind of got to do, of go, right, okay, we've had these 2 weeks off or we've been away or whatever. Let's just do what we normally do. Like, like you would
Yeah,
at work. You know, if you've had 2 weeks
so
off work, you step back in work and you don't go, oh, I'm not gonna do anything for 3 days because I've had 2 weeks off. You know, you just go back to what you
straight
should.
back into it. Yeah, yeah. I don't even think about it anymore. And I always think as well, you know, try and move a little bit more. If you're upping your calories, because you're on holiday, or you know, you might have the weekend off, like I said, because it's Easter, just move around, just take advantage of moving around a bit more. You know, to try and, you know, weigh out the extra that you're having in the food. You know, obviously I know the calorie deficit is, you know, what loses the fat, but I just think upping your activity level to take care of the fact that you're eating slightly more. You know,
Like the
it
last
just,
2 holidays I've been on, I've had a pool where I've been, and I've just made sure I've gone in and done like a few
yeah,
lengths. I'm not a great swimmer. I'd rather just sit in the pool, but I'm like, no, stand for a minute, right? Okay, swim up and down a couple of times, or tread water or whatever. And you know, I know it's not making a massive difference, but it is making some kind of difference.
of course it is. And I tend to take my running gear with me when I go away, not because I want to be that person that's running, you know, on their holiday. For me, it's, I want to see what's out there. So to run around the coast, you know, just kind of get that time for me and taking the scenery. I love that side of it. I'm not running because I want to run away to the burger and chips I've just had, because that's not how it works. But it's just to get moving and just to feel a little bit of get in my own head a little bit, because everything's so crazy at home. It's just nice to chill out a little bit, have a little run. Well, it's more of a jog.
Yeah.
Taking the coastline, and yeah, I just think keep moving. You know, if you're in them moments, just do something that you wouldn't normally do, that might take in some extra kind of physical stuff that you wouldn't do at home.
Yeah, I know we've had the Easter holidays now, but you know, if you've got a dog, take the dog out more, get the kids doing activities,
Yeah.
you know, wherever possible. You know, there's all these like Jump Nation, the trampolines and stuff, and you know, you can join in as well, go to all different parks and stuff. Definitely something to bear in mind for summer as well. Obviously, summer holidays coming up.
Yeah.
It's so easy just to stay in and let the kids play video games or whatever, you know, and it's like, no, let's plan activity days out where we're all moving, we're not thinking about food. You can go and enjoy an ice cream out if you want, you know, make it enjoyable, but like you say, just be a bit more active, really.
I think that's a big part of what you've just said, the enjoy an ice cream. I think a lot of people don't enjoy what they class as high calorie food or bad foods. We all know there's not good and bad foods, but that's how I can distinguish it on here. You know, it's, you should enjoy it, because it's not a sin to eat an ice cream or, you know, have a bag of chips. It's just that, you know, you can't do it all the time. It's, you know, well, you can, but you're not going to reach your goals if you do. So you've just got
I think
to.
the way I look at it is, if I went and had an ice cream out whilst I was walking the dog in a park on a nice sunny day, it is a treat because I don't have it at home. And like you say, a burger and chips, I don't eat it at home. So
Never
it's a treat out, because, and I do enjoy it because it's not something I regularly have. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't have ice cream and pizzas and burgers at home. Of course they should. But you get this hedonic adaptation, which means it's not as desirable anymore because it's always there and you've always got access to it. And your dopamine receptors just get dulled against certain foods because you're constantly over consuming them. Whereas when you take them away for a little bit, especially in a dieting phase, then when you go back to them, you enjoy them so much more. One, because you've not had them for a while. And that dopamine hit is what you get. And that's what everyone's seeking for when they're eating and overindulging in chocolate. They're looking for that dopamine hit, that happy hormone. Feel good with eating the food. Whereas if you have the same food all the time, and why people can just find themselves eating more and more and more chocolate is because they're not getting that hit of dopamine. So they just keep going. And what was 2 squares is now 2 bars, is now a massive bar, to get that same feeling from the chocolate.
This is what I was saying about the just doing the shoveling in when you're not really taking in notice of what you're eating. You know, it's the same when you're eating a meal. You know, any food that you're having is to actually have the food and enjoy the food. You know, it's very easy to sit here at your desk and eat food just to save a bit of time, or, you know, watch telly while you're eating. You're not actually eating, you're not actually enjoying the moment. And food should be enjoyable. It's what we need for the body to function. You know, if you stop eating, your body won't function. If you stop drinking water, your body won't function. So we should enjoy taking on the extra water, taking on the good food, because it's what will make you feel better. It's what nourishes your body. It's what keeps you fit. You know, it's not just a case of what you're doing in the gym. It's what, you know, this body is got to last a long time. And I'm nearly 50. You know, if ever there was a time to really concentrate on what's going in and not what's aesthetically on the outside, it's now. And I think a lot of people don't realize that I think people see dieting, when I say dieting, I use that word loosely, but dieting and fitness as, for one, something that should be done when you're younger because you're fitter and healthier. Nope. And it's almost like a dirty word, you know, diet and fitness. But it shouldn't be.
Yeah, like if you say like you're on a diet, like there's some kind of stigma attached to it sometimes.
Yeah, and
I always think at work that I'm always on a diet because I've always got Tupperware, or, you know, I'm always, like, taking food with me places. Like me and my mum and my sister went out the other weekend, and I took a ham and egg sandwich with me. You know, we had a coffee and I had that, and it was like, well, one, it's very hard for me to eat anywhere anyway, and it was like a meal time, so I'm like, I'm gonna take it out with me. I'm not dieting. I want to eat what I want to eat when I want to eat it. And people just assume that I'm dieting because I'm meal prepping or because I'm doing something. It's like, it's just an everyday occurrence. And
I love meal prepping. I love, you know, I try and, you know, conjure up something different, you know, every time I do it. It's the same kind of meal. I do like a chicken mince stir fry type thing. It's always the same meal, but I always try and chuck in a different spice, and I wonder what that one will be like if I put that one in. I just enjoy doing it. So it's never.
It's funny, it came up on my time hop yesterday, and another one came up today of my breakfast from 6 years ago, and it was 3 sausages, scrambled egg, tomatoes, and spinach. And now my breakfast is sausage, egg, and beans, and a piece of toast. Like, it's not changed really in 6 years, like slight modifications. But why is it? I don't eat the same because I feel that I need to. Every morning, I look forward to that breakfast, you know, and it's meal prep because it's like, well, I just keep cooking my chicken sausages, keep getting that routine. And something I said to my client as well yesterday about maintenance was, it's about not counting when you're on maintenance, but then knowing numbers. So I know 3 chicken sausages, 100 grams of egg whites, quarter of a tin of beans, which is 100 grams, and 1 piece of toast, 2 if I'm feeling hungry. I said, and I know those numbers, and that is going to keep me at maintenance because I just have the same. I said, and any other different ratio is either too much beans or too many sausages or whatever. I said, so I know that that combination tastes good. I know it hits my protein goal, and I know it's a lower calorie breakfast. I said, so I don't need to count it. Yes, I'll weigh out the 100 grams of eggs and beans, but, you know, I don't portion the beans. I go, right, tin of beans, 4 portions. However that works out, it'll end up the same anyway. But it's about knowing things like that, and that will help you keep to those, like you say, like, it's not about meal prepping as such. It's just about knowing them numbers.
A client of mine, brand new client, has just started tracking her food. And I always say when I get a new client, because you never really know whether they're overeating, undereating, because people do undereat as well. You know, I've had many situations where I say, right, this is what your calorie deficit for your height, age, weight, whatever should be. And they're like, if I eat that, I'll be massive. Because they've been on low calorie diets for so many years. They're eating 1,200 calories on a daily occurrence. So I suddenly say, well, your calorie deficit is 1,800 calories. They're like, I can't be eating 1,800 calories. So I always say in the first week, just track a normal week. Don't do anything exciting. Just track your normal week, and then we'll work out the numbers from there. And this lady, she's actually under eating. So she said, I was weighing out my gravy granules. She said, but I hadn't got any scales, so I didn't know how much it weighed. So I've guessed. So I said, how much did you have? And she said, oh, about three teaspoons, I think. I said, oh, it's probably about 11 grams. She went, how do you know that?
Yeah.
I went, well, I don't have gravy, but knowing what gravy granules looks like and knowing roughly what 3 teaspoons would be, I reckon it's about 11, 15 grams of in weight.
Yeah.
Anyway, she went, oh, she went, it was 15. So I wasn't far out, but it's just, you get to know through, so you don't have to log for the rest of your life, but you have to do it for a certain amount of time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For a short space of time, just to get used to what an amount of chicken breast looks like. I eat a lot of chicken, so I don't have to, when I portion it out now, generally when I put it in my little Tupperware, because I buy the 2.5 kilogram Aldi packs, when I portion it out, it's on the scales, but I know roughly what it's gonna look like, because I've done it for so long. So although I still get the scales out, I would probably be able to do it.
Yeah. My mum jokes with me once, because I was doing it at her house, like she'd cooked the chicken for me, and I was chopping it up, and she went, do you need the scales? I said, probably not, I could probably guess. And I was weighing out 100 grams, and I pretty much guessed it just from like eyeballing, chopping it up and putting it in. She went, see, you don't need the scales. I said, no, but I said, it just takes that guesswork out of it. It's just easier. I said, then I know I'm definitely getting that, like, you know, I'm not bothered like a couple of grams either way, it's not going to make a difference. I said, but because it's protein, and you know, I'm generally lower in protein these days, I said, I just need to make sure I'm hitting the numbers that I need to hit.
I mean, I appreciate that for some people it is quite it can be quite a challenging thing to do, and for some people it's not a healthy thing to do from a mental, you know, mindset kind of standpoint. But and I get that, and there are other ways of doing it, but for me, logging, I love logging. But then you see, I'm somebody that goes around the supermarket looking at all, you know, things on back at packets. I've always done it, even from being like first shopping when I had my first house at 19. You know, I've always gone around the supermarket. My mother hates shopping.
It's funny because like before, obviously now I've got a dairy allergy and I have to look at packets. Before I did, people would have thought I had an allergy the way that I looked at packets.
I love it. And I love looking for things that I can get to put in something that's lower calories as well. So I love my porridge. You were talking about what you have for your breakfast. So I have porridge every morning because I love my porridge. It's low in calories and it's a good wholesome breakfast, but I like flavor. So I use the skinny syrups, or I use the My Protein flavor powders, or because they're low in calories, but the taste that you get from using those, it's like a bit of a challenge in itself to try and get something that you can put in it that's not gonna, you know, go over in a massive amount of calories. So I'm like there chuffed with my porridge. I've got this still coming, you know, still coming under a couple of hundred calories.
Right, well, I think we have given everyone lots of nuggets of information now. We have covered loads of things. So thank you so much for jumping on. If anyone wants to find you, any of my clients, let me know where they can find you on Instagram and Facebook.
It's all Jayne Hornsby Fitness, Jayne with a Y, so Jayne, Hornsby, Hornsby Fitness, across everything. So yeah, you'll find me on that. You'll find my mug on most of those areas.
Yeah, that was great. Thanks very much, Jayne.
Thank you very much.